We are looming live over the great state of Indiana. Will Regan here, and with me as always, Captain Hal Overman at the controls. How are you, Hal?
Said what now?
Folks, today we're hovering high above Fetterman Farm Supply Tractor Pull Track for the finals of the Figure 8 Bicycle Racing Championship.
Hi, Will.
It's the man himself, Eric Rantman.
Well, thank you, Will. It's always good to be here above the action. We're here where the pedals meet the shins, as they say. With Figure 8 Bicycle Racing, we got some of the fiercest competition from some of the biggest bicyclists in the world. It's a big day.
It's kind of interesting that this sport originated in France, but was outlawed by the International Cycling Association because it was too, as they said, stupid.
Well,
Eric, I believe it's the only sport that actually condones doping.
I'm really not sure you could get anybody to compete otherwise. And the ancient figure eighters, going back to the Greek times, I think, certainly had to compete in an altered state of consciousness.
What would you say to someone who has never seen Figure 8 bicycle racing before?
Well, I know there are many here in the U.S.
How would you describe it for folks at home?
What you have is a figure 8. That's like the number 8, of course. Here's a graph, and it's about a mile-long course. And like an 8 does, it crosses in the middle. And that's where the challenge begins. The bikers go as fast as they can to get into that intersection, and let me put it this way, you better have a plan when you get there. Now, some believe they should wear helmets, but many feel that would take the thrill from the sport.
Let's give a nod now to our man on the ground, cyclist Billy Jimbo.
Thank you, Will. Merci.
Hey, I think he's French, right?
I worked with Billy Jimbo during our Olympic coverage, and I can say this about him. You can understand him just fine.
Billy is our eyes, ears, nose, and throat on the ground. He'll be covering the injuries. Eric, give us the rundown for today's match between Team Bicyclette des Tirs and the defending champions, the Stretchies.
Well, the Stretchies, in their very chartreuse pants, which is something that drives the crowd wild here, are ready for action. To see these athletes that could have easily been sumo wrestlers, except they're a little too heavy.
They're built for the downhill.
And then they use that locked arm sweep in the straightaways. I don't think there's any way to defend against that.
There's the warning sounded by referee Zepp Sendice.
Now, I think the blindfold has helped some of the rookies to get over their fears, especially the guys who come over here, for mountain biking.
Just reminding you folks, Sportsblimp coverage of heart-pounding excitement of Figure 8 bicycle racing is brought to you by Radiant Red, the medicated lip balm that glows in the dark. Perfect for those summer evening night rides or rounding up the cows after dark. It's glow stick technology in a lip balm. And it's animal tested and recently found animal safe.
It helps me find my wife in the dark.
Gentlemen, if I can just cut in here to say we're just moments away from the starting call. There it is.
The riders begin the first leg of this Figure 8er.
The first riders are blasting through right now. The look in their eyes is unmistakable.
The first rider is just about into the first turn.
Now, remember, Will, the challengers are riding side saddle, and they're going to attempt to dismount, and their timing's got to be perfect. It's going to be tricky.
It's offensive cranker Mo Reapy disappearing into the covered bridge. We see a little dust blowing out the other end. 2, 3, 4 riders in. Nobody out the other end yet.
Go!
There he is, Pierre Wob, first out. This is Figure 8 bicycle racing at its best. This is why hundreds are here today. By the way, fans expecting to see a tractor pull will not be refunded. While we watch Big Mo rip through the intersect and then into the covered bridge, let's give you a little fast FaceTime player profile.
An extraordinary life, an extraordinary cyclist. When Maurice was just 2 years old, his paternal grandmother, Amy Amoir, was teaching him to ride his first bicycle on a bright Sunday afternoon when on a steep hill in her native Nice, she tripped on an untied shoelace and let go of Maurice.
Kind of careless.
As a result, young Mo's glowing yellow trike, now loosed from Grandma's grasp, quickly built up speed until it reached terminal velocity, approximately 73 miles an hour.
That kid was flying.
According to passers-by, young Mo blasted through the traffic circle at the base of the hill, with one leg out, tripping pedestrians as he skillfully avoided 2 trolleys and a 4-door Peugeot.
That boy has a gift.
And it's a gift he'll have to call on today, as this is a tough field of figure-eighters. While we were away, Maurice made it through the intersect, this time having a close call with big wheeler and team captain Von Schlepp.
Von Schlepp was the first figure-eighter, I think, to shave his legs.
While riding. Let's go down to Billy, trackside, with this update from his vantage point.
I hope you can hear me, Will. Von Schlepp and Maurice Armour are neck and neck going into the figure-eight intersection. There's the ref issuing a warning call.
And I think that cast gives him a distinct advantage.
Maurice, or Mo as they call him, from the north, Von Schlepp from the south, heading into the intersection ever so slightly ahead.
Go, 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 go.
And here they go.
Looks like Vaughn got the worst of it this time, with sprocket marks right up his long nose. Mo's foot in his spokes. He didn't have much of a chance, I'd say.
The bright yellow flag is placed behind Vaughn's ear so the medics can find him in the wreckage. As the other riders pass by, they're making faces and mocking him.
Well, now there's the whistle for unsportsmanlike conduct. Stretchy Pants Mo Reapy drew a mustache on Clement's face. How many times have we seen that?
That's the first time for me, actually, Eric.
Sportsblimp is produced and distributed with a grant from the Goodyear Dirigible Company in Bucyrus, Ohio. Many of America's other favorite sports are played in the shadow of the Sportsblimp.